Good afternoon and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Jordan Sheldon, coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center.
And I'm Tamilore Odunsi. It's February 15th. On today's show, what you need to know about the LA Rams Victory Parade. The West megadrought is the driest it's been in over 1,000 years. And the US has banned avocado imports from Mexico. All that and more from Where We Are. But first, these news headlines from Sydney Zifra.
Today, Rick Caruso announced he is stepping down as chair of the USC Board of Trustees. He made the announcement in an email to the USC community. He turns his focus to campaigning for mayor of Los Angeles, the race which he entered on Saturday. The board will immediately begin its process to search for its next chair. Caruso will remain in his position until the transition process is complete. Here's what's happening at the Oscars. Twitter users will now be able to vote on their favorite films from 2021 through March 3rd. Anyone with a Twitter account can use the hashtag OscarsFanFavorite to vote. The film with the most votes will receive recognition during the broadcast. Prizes will be given to a few lucky Twitter users who vote. Across the pond, Prince Andrew settles a sexual abuse lawsuit. The case was brought against him in the United States by Virginia Giuffre. A court document filed by her attorneys today revealed both parties reached an out-of-court settlement. Those were some of the top news headlines for today. For Annenberg Media, I'm Sydney Zafira.
And now it is our pleasure to invite to Studio B Annenberg Media's sports editor, Eli Kleinman, sorry. That was a mess up, but his name is Eli Kleinman. He's a USC sports editor, and we're going to talk today about the LA Rams parade, which is celebrating that new Super Bowl win, and it's actually coincidentally going to be celebrated right here near USC.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an exciting time for the city of LA and sports.
So what can we expect at this parade? Is this going to be like most others? Definitely a very special time for
super exciting.
for Los Angeles citizens.
Gosh. And
Yeah.
you were telling us that it's the first time that there's going to be a parade like this in years.
Yeah, I mean, the first time in LA since the Kings won in the 2010s, but first time since the COVID pandemic. And I mean, the Rams played in LA before, but they moved back here for 2016 season. So winning a Super Bowl just 6 years after that. They began playing when they moved back here in the Coliseum, which is exactly why they're doing it around USC. They want to end up where they started the Coliseum. And what we can expect is it's approximately a 1 mile route for them. They'll start at the Shrine Auditorium. They'll go all the way to the Coliseum, to the Peristyle. And it's just going to be some floats with the players on it celebrating the win. Expect a lot of Rams fans out around town, and Figueroa from that stretch from the Shrine to the Coliseum will probably be closed for most of the day.
And I know a lot of, for USC students listening to this right now, a lot of classes are getting shut down. A lot of classes are getting let out, which is very, very exciting unless you had a midterm, especially if you had a midterm planned for that day. So some exciting stuff coming up for USC students to participate in on Wednesday.
Very exciting. And a lot of safety measures are being taken as well to ensure that the students will be safe around campus. What are some of the things that you think are going to be happening with that? You think they're going to block some areas on campus? Students are going to be advised not to go out if they don't want to. And, how crazy do you think this crowd is really going to be?
USC sent out an email today saying that classes could be put online tomorrow if needed. The city is recommending that everyone wear a mask, but obviously at sporting events we've seen that's not always easy to enforce and rarely is enforced. So
Rarely ever.
So that will be a concern to some around USC, and there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, this is a city that has really adopted the Rams and become big fans, and there'll be people here to celebrate the win, as there have been across Los Angeles. There was a big celebration Sunday night across the city when they won here in LA. I mean, for students, I think the biggest thing is know that you probably want to give yourself a little extra time to get anywhere tomorrow. Just there will be people out. If you're going to drive, it's going to be tricky. There are going to be roads closed. And so it just tomorrow, the key probably for students is giving yourself enough time to get wherever you're trying to go.
Well, thank you for that advice and for your insight, Eli. It was a pleasure having you on, and excited to hear some future updates from you in terms of where the Rams will be going in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay. And next up, much like In-N-Out, earthquake, speaking of Los Angeles and Hollywood movie stars, drought is not something new to Californians. However, according to a recent UCLA study, the California drought is the worst the region has seen in more than 1,000 years. Reporter Fitz Kane has more on this story.
It's no secret that California is in a drought, but a study published yesterday sheds light on just how severe the state's dry conditions are. The dry period that has plagued the American West for the past 22 years classifies as a megadrought rather than simply a drought because of its multi-decade duration, and this study found that the megadrought is being exacerbated by human impact. Because of increased severity of dry conditions in 2021, the current megadrought surpassed another period from the 1500s to officially become the driest period in 1,200 years. The study was published in the journal Nature Climate Change and helmed by UCLA geography professor Park Williams, as well as 2 other climate scientists. A similar study conducted by Williams in 2019 predicted that the period was nearing its end, but 2021 turned out to be the driest year since 2002, only worsening conditions of the megadrought. The 3 scientists estimated that 42% of the drought's severity is due to temperature increases caused by a rise of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This further confirms that global warming caused by human activity is worsening the American West's dry conditions. The megadrought has had devastating effects on Southern California specifically over its 22-year span. California reservoirs have shrunk, farmlands have been parched, and wildfires have ravaged forest regions. Climate scientists warn that the dry period won't let up anytime soon. They say that increased global warming will only worsen dry conditions. For Annenberg Media, I'm Fitz Kane.
I'm Jordan Sheldon. We're glad you're with us for From Where We Are.
And I'm Tamilore Odunsi. It's 8 minutes past the hour. Coming up, the U.S. has banned avocados from Mexico. And students are looking to snatch up the job of their dreams at the campus career fair. Stay with us.
If you saw the Super Bowl a couple days ago, you may have seen the Avocados from Mexico ad consisting of Spartans, Barbarians, and Conan O'Brien's sidekick Andy Richter as Caesar. In a bizarre case of bad timing, now the U.S. has suspended all imports of Mexican avocados. Matthew Andrade has more.
The innocent avocado has apparently been caught in the crosshairs of the drug war. The U.S. temporarily closed the door to Mexican avocado imports after a verbal threat was made against U.S. safety inspectors in Mexico. U.S. Department of Agriculture officials are investigating. They say the suspension will stay in place until the safety of the personnel is ensured. Mexican avocado fields are in the middle of a turf war between drug cartels. Avocado growers in the area say the cartels threaten them with death or kidnapping unless they pay for protection. USC professor of pharmaceutical sciences Roger Clemens explains how the drug cartel impacts inspectors.
And when they receive a threat like this, which particularly when a particular area of Mexico is dominated by the cartel, they want to be certain that everyone remains safe. So in collaboration with the U.S. government and the Mexican government, they're really looking at the safety of the personnel down there and see if in fact the threats are valid.
Avocados can only be produced on the coast and require a lot of water. This may be why the guacamole at your Super Bowl party was as expensive as it was.
So we've got water issues, you've got political issues affecting the people of Mexico. And when I asked the Minister of Health when we were together and said, well, why can't we get water to all of Mexico? He says it's too expensive.
The simple solution to this conflict would be to produce more avocados in the United States, particularly in the fertile state of California. But that solution isn't as simple or as feasible as it sounds.
So to think that can avocados be made up in California to create the shortfall, I doubt it. The avocados are already set. They've already bloomed for the next crop, makes my avocado trees have.
In the meantime, expect higher prices for avocados at the grocery store and a shortage if the situation continues to escalate. For Annenberg Media, I'm Matthew Andrade.
I mean, I'm just the biggest avocado nut.
Yeah.
You couldn't even.
Oh my gosh. In
I'm
LA?
obsessed with avocados. Yes, and I remember like when I was a kid, one of my core childhood memories was like the avocados from Mexico. Do you
Oh my
remember
God.
that slogan? It like stuck in my head
No,
immediately.
I actually didn't really
I
start
couldn't
eating
even get it
avocado
out.
I didn't start eating avocado till like recently. I think
Really?
because I'm in LA.
My favorite breakfast is avocado toast
See, like that's just such an LA thing.
with a bagel, hot sauce, and everything bagels. No, not with.
I mean, it's good though. It's good.
it is. I mean, especially the fried egg is what really completes it. I just feel like
Ooh,
everything is
fried
complimentary.
egg. This is making me hungry.
And
A big campus-wide career fair is back in person and taking place on February 24th. It could be a source of summer internships and other opportunities for all USC students. Lucien Wen has the story.
The career fair will cover jobs for students of all different majors. Fiona is a transfer junior to USC and is looking forward to attending this event.
I do plan on going to see if there's different companies and what opportunities they do have to offer. I have not been to any previous career fairs because I had just recently transferred to USC in the fall semester, so I'm looking forward to attending this upcoming one. I'm looking to get involved in the biopharmaceutical industry. I'm looking more towards like regulatory affairs or more of like the management or business side of the biopharma industry. So that's particularly what I'm looking for.
Back in the fall of 2021, holding a career fair on Zoom was a bit confining. This time around, the career fair is a brand new experience. Students get to meet employers in person. Some students say being interviewed right there on the spot may not be as intimidating as it sounds. Andrew Ryan is a USC junior.
It wasn't as intense as I thought it'd be. My advice to other people would be to like leverage your status as a student and don't be overwhelmed by everyone that you meet. Everyone goes through it. They've all been in your shoes at some point in their life. Just to get the most you possibly can out of it.
Lauren Organorth is the Associate Director of Internship Engagement at the USC Career Center. She says a good first step is for students to get feedback on their resumes. One resource for that is the Smart Resume tool.
You upload the resume to the site within 90 to 120 seconds. It's going to give you some qualitative and quantitative feedback, and then you can go back and forth to try to get your score to at least a 75 to then share with the recruiter. So
Organorth says the most important thing for an in-person career fair is to know who is coming, review the job list, and prepare for the questions. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lutian Wen.
And that's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Spencer Cline, Jeffrey Lee, Polina Cherezova produced today's show. We also got help from Shirley Jihad.
Fernando Cienfuegos is our technical operator, and Derek Ronfro composed our theme music.
We're also streaming live on KXSC. Follow KXSC at kxsc.org/listen and on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News. Subscribe to From Where We Are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you're looking for more news, be sure to download Annie, Annenberg News app. And look for us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Annenberg Media. Once again, I'm Jordan Sheldon.
And I'm Tamilore Odunsi. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for
From
Where We Are.